Hey everyone, welcome back to Sham's Makeup Artistry. If this is the first time you're tuning into my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And today I'm gonna do my May favorites. Yes, we are already into the month of June and it's time to share May favorites. I do have a couple of stuffs that I've been trying out, some of the stuffs that I've been loving forever. So without further ado, let's just get started. The very first thing that I'd like to share with you is a foundation. Of course, I have not yet put down my Dior Forever foundation, but I have been using a combination of foundations so that the foundation lasts on my skin a little bit longer. When it comes to the Dior Forever foundation, this does have like a glow finish to the face area. Sometimes when the weather is a little bit more heaty, I tend to get a little bit more extra oily, especially on my T-zone areas. So I do like to combine matte foundation, especially for my T-zone area. And for that, I've been loving my Lancome Teint Ultra Stick Foundation. And I am in the shade 450 Suede Neutral. So I only apply this foundation on the center points of my face area and then I blend it with a Real Techniques face brush. And all over the other areas of my face, I use my Dior Forever foundations. And I also like to rotate with the Bobbi Brown foundation stick. This is their foundation stick in the shade Natural. This is much more lighter than my skin tone, so when I blend it with my Dior foundation, it blends in perfectly. So I'm currently using this as an highlight concealer instead of a foundation. So on the T-zone area, on the under eye area, and also wherever I need to highlight my face, I'm using this foundation as a concealer instead. Now let's move on to a face palette that I've been liking throughout the month of May, and it's from Too Faced. It has been quite some time. I did mention this in my haul that I have liked a Too Faced makeup product because I kind of feel that they're very similar, very repetitive, and after some time I tend to get bored with them. But this one I've been loving throughout the month of May, and this is their Too Faced Natural Face Palette. I am aware that some of you asked me to do swatches of this over my face area, how it wears on my skin tone. I will definitely do that as soon as I can. But this palette has been my reached out for palette. I do like how the colors wear on my skin tone, especially the bronzers, and they do have like a chocolatey scent to it. And the blushes, this blusher here goes on really well. It does look pretty light in the pan, but when you apply it over your face, it does pull out really well. With the highlighters, it's not like my absolute favorite, but this 4 shades has to be my reach out for, and I've been really liking this palette, and I like the sturdiness of this face palette as well. With the eyeshadow one, I don't think that I'm a fan of it, so I did not pick that one up. Now let's move on to eyeshadows. I've been loving this palette throughout the month of May, and it's by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is their soft glam eyeshadow palette. You can see it's already dirty because it does have like a velvet packaging, and I touched every other thing during swatches and it eventually got dirty. So this palette is of course not a must have palette because most of you may find the shades are already available in their single eyeshadows, and they are also available in other Anastasia Beverly Hills palette already. But if you're a fan of neutral eyeshadows, the colors that I'm wearing on my eye area are from this palette. I do have an eye tutorial, probably it will be up before or after this favorite, so I'll definitely link down the details if the video is already up on my channel. So here is the soft glam eyeshadow palette. I totally love all the shades that are in this palette. I kind of feel that I'm reaching out for this palette so much that I've already dug into the eyeshadows. These are very softly milled eyeshadows, just like their modern Renaissance eyeshadow palette. So they do smear everywhere, they do spread everywhere, but they do not have tons of fallout when I personally applied it on my eye area, depending on the brush. I personally felt, because when I was working with this palette on someone else using different brushes, I did notice there was fallout on their under eye area. But with the brushes that I personally am using, I do not see any fallouts on my under eye area, but I still love this palette. I personally feel the fallouts from this palette, mostly it's because the eyeshadows are really softly milled. That's why they tend to look powdery, but they are not actually powdery, if that does make sense. They are actually very soft. That's why they tend to have a lot of fallout. But yet again, this palette has been my most reached out for, and I actually gave away one of this palette. Moving on to the next single eyeshadow that I've been using besides the Soft Glam eyeshadow palette. I've only been reaching out for the Soft Glam palette and also this single eyeshadow throughout the month of May, and it's by MAC. This is their single eyeshadow in the shade Tempting. I have been really loving this one. This has been my oldie but a goodie, and here's how Tempting looks like. It's a bronzy shade. So most of the matte shade I go with the Soft Glam palette. I just blend it over my eye area, and then on my lid area I just put on this particular shade. Again, it's such a wearable shade, and if you're into browns and bronze, you will definitely love this one. I don't know if a swatch of it would do it a justice, but it's such a beautiful shade to have. If you want to check out something from MAC, definitely check out their eyeshadow in Tempting. And let's move on to a mascara that I've been enjoying throughout the month of May, and it's by NYX. This is their Worth the Hype Volumizing and Lengthening Mascara. I have been reaching out for this mascara non-stop. Of course, I've been using my Thrive Cosmetic mascara as well, but this is my most reached out for mascara throughout the month of May. I kind of feel that this mascara lengthens the eyelashes, and it wears the eyelashes so beautifully. It doesn't clump up the lashes, and I've been totally digging into it, and the wand of it is pretty thick, but it gives such a perfect length to the eye area, and this is such an affordable mascara. If you're looking out for a lengthening and also a volumizing mascara, definitely check out the NYX. This is again their Worth the Hype mascara. Now moving on to a blusher. This blusher is the only one that I've been using throughout the month of May because I've been trying to use my products. So this is something that I kept reaching out for. And this is a Nars blusher in the shade Amour, and I have been really liking this blush. This is my favorite, comparing it to the Nars Orgasm blush, because this wears much more prominently on my skin tone, and it does have like a peachy pink finish to it, and again it wears much more beautifully on deeper skin tone girls. Of course, fairer skin tone girls, you can wear this blush, but for those of you who feel upset or sad or annoyed that Orgasm blush doesn't work for your skin tone, you can try out Amour or even Torrid. Torrid and Amour works very similar. This does have a little bit more pink to it, and the Torrid blush does have more peachy pink to it. I do have the liquid version of it right here, and I do have the powder version of it, so you can see that this is much more of a peachier finish, and this is much more of a pinkier finish. Again, this is definitely a must try. And now let's move on to highlighters. Two highlighters for the month of May. One of it is from Dose of Colors, and this is their Fuego highlighter. And I'm not sure whether this is a limited edition, but if it's still available, I'll link it down on the description bar below. But this is such a beautiful highlighter. Again, wearable on every other skin tone. It does have like a champagne shade to it. It's not overpowering. At the same time, it wears really beautifully on the skin. And I actually like to combine this with another highlighter, and this is how Fuego looks like. It's not like an overpowering kind of highlighter, and if you're a person who doesn't really want your highlighter to show bam, you might want to give this a try. But if this is not available, then we will try to look out for another one. And the other highlighter that I've been enjoying throughout the month of May is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm pretty sure that you guys already would have known which highlighter is this. This is the Amrezy highlighter, and I love layering it on top of any other highlighters because it does show a little bit more on my skin tone. Of course, how the highlighter is presented itself, it looks really beautiful, and it does have like a goldish kind of finish. This highlighter is of course much more prominent looking than the Dose of Color highlighter, but yet it looks very beautiful on the skin. It doesn't look like you have chunky glitter on your face. It still looks very beautiful on the skin, and I have been really liking this highlighter throughout the month of May. I have one more eye product that I forgot to share along the way when I was sharing my eyeshadows. The other one that I've been loving throughout the month of May has to be the Stila. This is the Shimmer and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Twig. This one is my absolute favorite. When I want something bronzy, I'm all about bronzy shades, and this one has to be my best pick because you can just wear this alone and then blend it with a neutral shade or blend it with your bronzer and you're good to go for the day. Let me just swatch it for you. See how beautiful it looks like. It's just heaven, and I have been totally loving this throughout the month of May, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to use it throughout the month of June, July, August, whenever I feel like rocking this particular shade. Look at how pigmented they are. You have to work on very slow and steady with this glitter and glow eyeshadows because sometimes they apply very streaky, but once they set in, they do not budge. Lastly, let's move on to lip products. I do have 3 of them. Of course, 2 of them is very much similar like my April favorites, and they are by SmashBox. And this one is their Always On liquid lipstick in the shade Stay Neutral, and the other one is in the shade Stepping Out. I'm not going to do swatches of them because I'm pretty sure that I've already shared on my April favorites and I've been always sharing them. I'm actually wearing Stepping Out on my lips today, and I've been really liking this SmashBox liquid lipsticks. I guess I've been giving them a lot of praises out there, so enough of that. Let's move on to the last one, which is from Jouer, and this is the Jouer lip cream in the shade Tawny Rose. I kind of feel that this wears very similar like the lip color that I'm wearing right now, Stepping Out, but this does wear a little bit more pink on my skin tone. And as usual, I use my very favorite lip liner with it, which is from Sephora. And this is how Tawny looks like. So you can see it looks much more pink, but when you blend it with the lip liner, it wears really beautifully on the lips. So those are my favorites for the month of May. Definitely share with me what are the products that you've been enjoying throughout the month of May. To my very next one, stay beautiful both inside and out. Give me a thumbs up, share all your love and support, and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.